So, Saturday is here, month of January. We reflect today an important point that we are not completely independent, autonomous beings. We are all siblings. A relationship that we are all of us siblings. Have you realized that we are not fully self-sufficient people? Actually, we are fully dependent on each other for our survival. All of us are interdependent. For example, take a cup of coffee. Stare at it. Take a sip and relish that coffee. We drink coffee every day, many times a day, without giving much thought to it. That coffee in our cup has traveled a long way. We can actually track the journey of this coffee in my cup. Go back. How it ended up in this cup and how I relish it. Mother buys the coffee powder from the shop. We don't eat coffee powder. Mother or the cook has to labor to transform the coffee powder into liquid coffee. There are other ingredients in a cup of coffee like sugar, milk. The shopkeeper from where my mother bought that coffee powder, that shopkeeper buys coffee powder from the delivery truck. Delivery truck brought it from the warehouse. In the warehouse, many laborers load boxes of coffee onto the truck. The truck has to reach to the shop. Crates of coffee seeds were loaded on the trucks, which are driven by drivers with their driving skill, and they transported them from some other state and supplied them to factories where laborers work roasting, grinding the coffee seeds and packing it. The coffee seeds in the estates were packed in gunny bags, made in some estate somewhere far away, some other state. These coffee seeds are acquired from coffee plantations from the farmers who planted and picked the beans. Those same beans will be used to serve coffee at the other end of the world. Whole world is connected, interconnected. All those people who are involved in coffee production, we may not meet them at all, who labored, sweated to prepare that coffee powder. We may not meet them at all. Mothers, farmers, laborers, packers, truck drivers, bag makers, accountants, we're all dependent on them. Even those who made the factory machines, those who build and maintain the trucks, will remain anonymous to us. The final consumers, we are the final consumers. When one sips a cup of coffee, one not only relishes caffeine contained in it, but also needs to be aware of the collective labor and sweat of thousands of people in this cup of coffee. From those laborers in the coffee estate, the mother in the kitchen, and the cook in the hotel, everything is linked like a web, and the cup of coffee in front of you contains that linkage. How does this cup of coffee show the dependence and interdependence? Reflect on that. Dependence and interdependence between people. Make a list of things that makes all of us depend on others. What does this lesson teach us? The lesson we learn is tolerance towards others. Since we are dependent on others for almost everything, we are not dependent, but the interdependent. We should be grateful to our ancestors. We are not autonomous or totally independent. We had or have our parents. They had their own parents. That means 2 into 2, 4. Our parents, and they had their parents. 2 into 2, 4. If we go back to 10 generations, we have 1024 elders or ancestors. 20 generations will mean 1 million ancestors. Reflect on that. 1 million ancestors. In that combination of ancestors, that means your dad married your mother and not someone else. If we delete even one of those ancestors, we would not have been here today. We exist, live today, because these ancestors worked hard and drenched in sweat. Due to these all things, I cannot say that I will live alone. I don't need others. I can be an autonomous being. I don't need anyone else. In all my achievements, thousands have lent a helping hand and cooperated. Those who have invented computers, mobiles, those laborers, those who provide food while I am with my work, all these are our benefactors, good-willed people. Because of such 1,000 tacit helping hands, my accomplishments were actualized. We travel by bus or train, we sit in the auditorium and hundreds are gathered. During all these activities, something is going on. We breathe, our hearts pump blood. What I inhale through my nostrils, the air is exhaled by others. I exhale that air which is inhaled by others. During the whole time, I and my neighbor, those who are gathered here, exchange the breath. They breathe what I have exhaled from me, from my lungs. During the whole time this exchange of air is going on. Have you realized its implications? That where is the chance of untouchability when each one of us inhales the air exhaled by the other standing there? The master inhales what the servant has exhaled. In a classroom, teacher inhales what the students have exhaled. If we consider this fact, then all of us belong to the same group, same caste. The essence of you is the essence of me. That is the consciousness of love thy neighbor. Because my and other person's consciousness are deeply connected. In Greek language, this relationship of human beings, closely interconnected relationship, inhaling and exhaling from each other, exchanging the breath with each other, is called agape. Agape. Look at that tree. Whole night it is silent like a sage. Silent. And inhales the carbon dioxide exhaled by other beings, by us, animals, and converts it into oxygen whole night, and that oxygen we inhale. We and the trees form a cooperative society. This cycle of rejuvenating each other is going on and on and on incessantly. We are all interrelated. We are all siblings. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Thank you. Meet you next Saturday.